Hello, folks. One of the questions we get most often is how do you go in the backcountry? Well, first of all, going in the backcountry, there are two types. There's number one, number two, or the technical terms are urinating or defecating. But for the sake of clarity and brevity, I'm going to use two common words, peeing and pooping. First of all, on the trail. When you're peeing on the trail, if you're a guy, it's like a guy paradise. I mean, you can go any place. Every single square foot of the trail is a place to pee. It's like you ever been out and just wanting to go out in the back of your yard and worried about the neighbors seeing you, but you just want to enjoy that opportunity to take a leak, out in nature and stuff. That's what it's like for guys on the trail. You can pee any place. You're not supposed to do it on the trail, but you can do it close to the trail. Now, if you're a woman, it's a little bit more complicated because Nancy's got to undo her pack, she's got to drop drawers, she got to drop her underwear, and she got to try to find a place that's a little bit private on the trail. Now, I'm set up. I've got my line ready for when she's peeing on the trail. I figure I'm going to plant myself in the middle of the trail, and if I see somebody coming up, I'm going to do Gandalf from the Bridge of Khazad-dûm. I am the wielder of the white fire of honor. Go back to the pit that spawned you. Flame of Udun, you shall not pass. I've never had an opportunity to use it yet, except actually yesterday, but I was facing the wrong direction. We're up on top of a bald, and I knew there were a couple of guys behind us, and I was going to use the line. Well, two guys came from the other direction, and I turned around in time to see them shielding her eyes because Nancy was there using the bathroom. Now in the shelter, it's a little bit more complicated because you have to get up at night, and that's always a dilemma. You get in your sleeping bag, you're nice and warm and cozy, you drunk a lot of water to kind of rehydrate, and sometime in the middle of the night you got to get up. You got to get out of your sleeping bag, and you got to go outside. Now, you're supposed to pee kind of far from the shelter, but like if it's raining or something, I'll just let it fly out from under the awning. I don't care. Again, for Nancy, it's a little bit more of a difficult problem. She's got to get up, and she's got to get her toilet paper, and she's got to find a place that's kind of private and hunker down, and you get the picture. Now, pooping is a different matter. At the shelters, there are usually privies, which makes it very easy. In fact, I'm in a privy right now, taking care of business. See, you can look, it's got like three sides. This side is open. See? Nice and private. I got a great view down the mountainside. It's easy to poop in the privies. There's actually one place up in, at least there used to be, I haven't been in the Grayson Highlands for a long time, but there used to be a spot up there where right by the AT is this privy. And it's four walls with no roof. It was solar powered for some reason. I don't know what the solar power was doing, but you could sit there taking care of your business, and somebody could come along the trail. You could have a conversation. Now, when you're on the trail and you got to poop, well, that's a different matter. Or if you're at a campsite and there's no privy, then there's a whole technique you got to use. You got to walk out about 100 feet away from the campground. You got to dig a little cat hole, and you got to squat down. Now, here's the deal about squatting down. Most of us in the West, we Westerners, our toilets are not designed really for successful pooping. You got your legs low down, and you're sitting up nice and tall, and it's not a good way to get a lot of pressure. But when you're squatting over a cat hole, you're using kind of an Eastern posture. You're squatting down on your haunches, kind of like a catcher in baseball, only you're even tighter. Your knees are up around your chin. You can get some pressure that way. You can make it fly that way. We eat a lot of high fiber stuff. So I was pooping one time. I dug a cat hole and I had to go really bad, and I squatted down and I let fly, and all of a sudden it felt like a snake had bit me on my right cheek. I got up and jumped up and said, "What was that?" And I looked around, looked on my right cheek, thinking that I was going to see a couple of fang marks. Instead, there was a little brown smudge. I had fired a turd so fast it ricocheted up. off the ground, hit me in the butt. I saw it down there. It looked like a, I don't know, a 7mm casing with a blunt nose. That's the ideal way. If you ever want to try that at home, instead of sitting on the toilet, put your feet on the rim, squat down, and let fire. Whew. Well, after you dig the little cat hole, then you're supposed to put all your paper in there and cover it up and make it seem like nobody's ever been there before. If you're at a campsite, you got to be careful with your cat hole, because one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to dig a cat hole where somebody else had dug a cat hole. That'll get your boots nasty. Anyway, that's what it's like to go in the backcountry. Thank you for listening.